Hello, welcome back. In today's video, I want to get into the concept of actually why XRP is the asset that you want to be in if the whole system collapses. So when I talk about a whole system collapsing, what do I mean? What do I mean? Well, I mean, because you've got the Great Reset, right? And then you've got the financial collapse. I'm trying to figure out which one of those is more drastic. Like, which one is like end of the world? We have that, like, water and food is the most valuable asset on the planet because all the internet's off, all the electricity's off. I tend to believe that that's probably not going to happen. But like, it's in my mind and I've got water at my house and stuff. So like, I'm prepared a little bit for that. But I tend to think that if we have a massive change of the financial system, it's going to be in a way that's very subtle and over time. Maybe you'll have at maximum like 10 minutes of outage across the globe for this new system to come in. I think in reality, it changes systems gradually over time. This obviously does kind of remove that flick the switch moment that people talk about so much. In this video, I kind of want to explain why XRP is really well suited and how just logically speaking, it'll make it. It'll make it in whatever crash is bound to happen. I think the slow crash is going to happen, you know, where things just change over time with legislation. I think that the train has already left the station, as you all know already. And it's funny that I said train because it wasn't a pun that I intended, but I have a story that I want to tell just to illustrate my point here in this video, and it's about trains and bridges. So what we're going to take away from this video, I think, is why XRP actually is the best choice of an asset to have that will survive this switch over. So I want you to be able to understand the unique qualities of XRP in this video, but also just logically understand why it's bound to succeed. It's bound to win, even with the constraints and the control that the government has right now over the whole system and the banks have over the whole system. Even with that strength and conviction that they have to keep things the way they are, it's still bound to change, and XRP is still bound to become the asset. Certainly for these types of transactions, whether it's the asset for retailers, unlikely. I think we're fortunate that we're here right now. So let's get into it then. So in the town I live in, and this is the same for all the towns basically that have a train station, the train stations were there oftentimes way before cars were there. So cars and infrastructure was put in after these bridges. And so these bridges in the UK are very, very old. There's loads of pictures of them. Just type UK, traditional UK train pedestrian bridge. Nice easy Google search for you there. And you'll see that they're like really nice patterns and stuff. They were truly handmade. Like these weren't made in factories and stuff. Really nice, really nice. And they've stood the test of time, right? And they do their job, right? You need to, the train barriers have gone down. You need to cross to get over. So you don't have to wait for the train to come. You walk to the side, you walk up, you walk across, you walk down again, and then you carry on your journey. It does its job somehow. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, right? But it does its job. But it only does its job for pedestrians. Like, cars can't go up that bridge and then go down. And so it's actually mostly terribly inefficient, because if you actually look at the bridge, certainly in my town, it would be the same all over. As soon as that train line closes for the train to go past, so the cars don't go past, the traffic is immense. And in rush hour here, you over a stretch of like 0.3 of a mile, you might have to wait half an hour to clear that. So it creates this immense level of traffic. People are moving house from the town that I live in to go somewhere else that doesn't have this traffic. And it's because of that train station. It's because of the trains going through. And of course, you've got lovely things that happen. You've got nice steam trains that go through, and all the enthusiasts are there with their cameras and stuff. That's lovely. But the whole system is inefficient. Now I want to propose to you something And I'm sure you're seeing the parallels here. The old bridges are like the old train stations. The old bridges are like the old financial system, the current financial system. It does the job. It might do it in 3 to 5 days. It might process your payment in 3 to 5 days. It might cause traffic. You might have inefficiencies. You might not be able to let the cars through, but some people can get through, and that's good enough. Like, it works. It's worked for 200 years. It'll continue to work. But I want to kind of pose another idea. What if there was such a system where you have the train line, right? The train line's there. It's necessary. It's part of the movement of people, like to go to London and all this kind of stuff. What if there was such a technology where pedestrians would walk and they would stand in this like square, and the square has this new fancy technology, and there's a pair of those squares on the other side. So you've got one square here, one square on the other side. All a person has to do to cross the rail is stand in the square, wait for 3 to 5 seconds, somewhere around there, and then automatically they're just on the other side. They teleport. So they stand there for 3 to 5 seconds and they teleport over. Now the same happens for cars. Cars drive in, massive things, even like vans and 18-wheelers. They drive up to their rectangle, and there's another rectangle on the other side. They wait there for 3 to 5 seconds, and boom, they're on the other side. That's quite compelling. That completely changes things. Let me explain how that changes my town, for example, in the transport side of things. If people can move from one side of that track to the other in 3 to 5 seconds, I don't care how nice that bridge looks or how traditional it is or how old it is, people are not going to choose that option to cross the road. If you have the prospect of being sat in traffic for 45 minutes or 5 seconds, I'm sorry, but all of the traditional train lovers, you're to the side right now. You can take your pictures somewhere else. I want to get home. And so I think that's really what we're talking about here. Like, just the compelling nature of the fact that XRP will do a transaction in 3 to 5 seconds, where Swift, for example, will take 3 to 5 days. The current system takes 3 to 5 days. The transaction fees for XRP are 0.00001 XRP per transaction, whereas a Swift fee can actually go as high as $1,000 to make a payment on Swift. Now, I want to just take this to ChatGPT here, because this is obviously, you can see none of this is scripted at all. But I'm going to run this experiment because I want to know just how much XRP you would have to send to get a $1,000 transaction fee. What I'm saying here is that it's just way cheaper. It's way quicker to do it. We're going to get that answer in a second. And I think that naturally just wins out over time. I think that just beats the old system naturally. Like, it's too compelling. The only way that XRP doesn't completely change the financial world is if the traditional system, the banks and the whole SWIFT system, the most important part for the financial institutions is regulatory clarity and maturity of the thing that they're using. If those are the only, if that's the only consideration, like the primary consideration, then, we're fighting a losing game. But if their consideration is we want to save some money or we want to make some money because they can create margins with that stuff, and we want to create a faster experience with less hiccups, if that's the priority, then XRP is going to win. Over time, we will get maturity with XRP because it will have just been around for a long enough time. We'll get regulatory clarity over time as well. So I just think it's a war of attrition. Like, it might take a while, but I don't see how the better technology doesn't just end up winning. So let's look at the answer that the AI came up with here. Okay, you would have to do 200 million transactions at the price of 50 cent XRP to match that $1,000 transaction fee. It would take you 200 million transactions to get that fee, and you can get a $1,000 transaction fee on one. I said that on one transaction using Swift. It's too compelling. Like it's too compelling. Let me see. If you were going to do one transaction and get a $1,000 fee using XRP, what would the price of XRP have to be? So I hope you're understanding my questions here. I'm just completely curious here. Let's wait for it to okay. You would have to reach $100 million per XRP to have one single transaction cost $1,000. I mean, it's too compelling. It's too compelling. That's why I want to do it. That's what I want to say. Ripple's also got 300 financial institutions that they're partnering with across 45 different countries. They've got partners like Santander, SBI, Remit, and these are both using XRP in international transfers. Of course, there's different payment channels that they're using there. That's a whole other video as well. But it's too compelling. In my opinion, it's too compelling. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a nice little thought experiment. If you like this style of video, please let me know in the comments. There'll be a lot more to come. It's going to be XRP content from now until at least the end of January, just solid. We're going to get really into the weeds with XRP. So if you're a holder of XRP or an investor, this is the place to be for it. It's casual conversation. We're talking about it. I'm discovering new things all the time. I'm very excited about all of this. And the bull run is right around the corner. So subscribe to the channel if you want updates all the time on XRP. I've also re-established the newsletter. The newsletter goes out actually 3 times a week now. It's kind of insane. And that's just useful tips to help you along your crypto journey. Lessons that I've learned that you might be able to learn from as well. And I'll also share some really amazing stories from my students and my clients as well in there, just to provide motivation that these things are possible. You can do it. Anyway, stay emotionless, and I'll see you in the next one.